accused.
I'm from New Zealand, and I had moved over to Melbourne to find work over here and to find a better life. But prior to coming to Melbourne, I was living with my family and that, but I was so far from God, I was so distant from God, and then coming to Melbourne, I was still so far from God. I had a time where I was trying to find who I was, like trying to find my identity.
Oh, to be like you, give all I have just to know you.
I was in Melbourne for a few years, and I think I think everyone has this, but I knew that I was capable of doing something. Like I always knew that I had this potential and I had so many gifts and talents, but like it was like me not being able to, like me knowing that I can achieve something, but there was something that just wouldn't allow me to get to what I was trying to achieve. So trying to find who I was, and I remember one day just coming back from work, and I had just lived so many years of just trying to, of going in circles pretty much, not knowing where I was going, but knowing that I had a purpose, but I just couldn't find what it was.
The cross has taught me to live, and mercy my heart now to sing. The day and its troubles shall come.
And then I was coming back from work, and like many people do, you sit in your car and that's your reflective time, and that was what I was doing. I was driving back and I was reflecting on, like, what am I doing, where am I going in life? And I did really realize that I was going nowhere. I didn't know my purpose. I knew that I had these things, these awesome qualities, but I just couldn't tap into how to use them and what to do with them. And just at that time, I was coming down Dunnings Road down in Point Cook, and I was still living in Point Cook at the time. And as I was just reflecting on my life in that, I realized that, man, I really need to go back to God. Like growing up in a Christian home, that was what was reminding me. It took me back home to my parents and that, and one good quality that I remembered was that they went to church and stuff. So I thought, man, I think I really do need to go back to God. And right at that moment, I looked to my right hand side on the island on Dunnings Road, and I seen the Light Point Church sign. And when I looked at it, I said no way, and I kept on driving. And then it started ringing in me, and I went, like, God, was that really you showing me a sign? So I done a U-turn just to make sure that to find the sign, just to see what the name of the church was. And I googled the church that morning, and I got home and I was just contemplating in my head when I got home, should I go to church, should I not go? Like I'm lost, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know what people are gonna think of me, covered in tattoos and just a big guy. I was thinking about what people were gonna think about me. But that morning I decided just to go as I am, and I turned up to church. I think I went in shorts and a t-shirt, and I just rocked up. And I think Pastor Phil, you were preaching at that time, and that message that you were preaching was everything that you had said. It was like as if it was just me in that room. Everything you said that day was for me, and it was and it really did speak life into me. And then from that day I started attending Light Point Church, and I began to know that there was something that lit up in me. I knew that there was I began to start piecing together who I was and who I was in Christ. And I think that was the most important thing on my journey, that I discovered who I was in Christ, and knowing where to put my gifts and talents and stuff. And then coming to Light Point Church, I was able to join in the worship team and also be involved in the youth and that, and utilising my gifts and stuff to be able to build the kingdom. And I think what really did speak out to me was that I found out who I was in Christ, and that really drove me. And I know that everywhere that I go, no matter what I put my hand to with Christ in it, there is no limit, and that everything that I do is like there's purpose to it, you know.
Oh, to be loved.